Yeah, in the chat box. You don't have to put your, what do I want to say? You don't have to put your, you don't have to put your name. Not, yes, you do have to put your name. You don't have to put your, you don't have to put your student number is what I'm trying to say. All right, so welcome to class. And what's going on here? Okay. Students, wait 1 second. I'm trying to admit some student and it's failing. So give me a second. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Give me just a moment, students. Something's going on. I apologize. Something's going on with one of the students. The teams won't let the student in. All right, students. Again, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me put something up here on the screen so you have something to actually look at while I'm sitting here doing this. I don't know what's going on, but Microsoft Teams won't let a student in, and I don't know why. So let's see, what do I want to show you? We're going to talk about a practice paper today. We will talk about the end of module assignment, which I hope you saw that I put up on Moodle and I've emailed you about. Let's see. I wanted to do this. We're going to talk about this today. This is another practice paper. So I'm just going to leave this up on the screen for you to look at. Think about how you would start writing the answers. I'm really sorry. Let me just explain what's going on. All right, so give me just a moment because Teams won't let me let a student in. This is getting really irritating. Huh. All right, students, yeah, I'm gonna have to go and I'm gonna have to go check something. Because I don't know what's going on. Okay. It looks like somebody's been added to the meeting, so I'm sorry to students. I'm really sorry, and Wang Jiaxi, I'm really sorry that I'm calling you out in front of everybody, but were you able to enter the class? It says that I've added you to the meeting. Are you in here? Are you in the online class? All right, so I just left a note in the chat box for Wang Jiaxi. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. So if you're here, can you please let me know that you are here? Okay, it looks like you're here. Can you let me know if you're here? Can you confirm? Can you please write yes in the chat box or turn your microphone on and say yes? All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. That's the first time that happened. All right, so students, I apologize for that. Let us begin now. Okay, so what I want to do is we're going to start off with a PowerPoint review, and then we're going to have to talk about the assignment. So let's go to our PowerPoint review. I sent this PowerPoint to you, I want to say last week, okay? So here we go. All right, so final review. Okay, so it says which two suggested solutions are special. So we've got suggestions. Notice I call them suggested solutions. If on the, what is that thing called, the end of module assignment, you might see the word suggestion, you might see the word solution, they're the same thing. All right, so which two are special? All right, if you said this one and this one, very good, you are correct. All right, now what makes them special? So why is this one special? Okay. They're special because you're going to have to add your own suggested solution. So you'll notice right here, they give you your own suggestion. Here they give you your own suggestion. Here they give you a suggestion. Here you barely see any words, right? There's not a lot of words. So that means you need to add your own suggested solution. And remember, you need to add the advantage of the solution. You need to explain why that solution is good. All right, so that one's special, and this is the reason why. All right, next one, we have this one. This one is special. Now, if you're like, how do I know which one are special? Well, this one says one suggestion required, so you know that one's special. You know this one is special because it's got the / and question mark, which I keep telling you every class, because I know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but it's super important. All right, so like I say here, it says two things make this suggested solution special. All right, so one, there are two solutions. Solution one, then you have the / then solution two with the question mark. Okay, so solution one / solution two question mark. The other thing that makes this special is you will need to give the advantage and the disadvantage for both solution one and solution two. So solution one, you're going to say solution one, give the advantage and disadvantage. Then you're going to write about solution two and then give the advantage and disadvantage. Remember, the advantage and disadvantage are not on the paper. They're not on the end of module assignment. So you're going to have to add your own ideas. Here, if you can notice that just little floated down there, you've got the / and the question mark. That lets you know that this is special, that there are two solutions. All right, so do you need to give the disadvantages for all the suggested solutions? Meaning, do you need to give the disadvantage for this one, disadvantage for this one, and this one? The answer is no. Only when you see the / and question mark, when there's solution one and solution two. So only when you see this, that's when you give the disadvantage. All right, but, and again, keep talking about those two solutions. Which word will you use when you start writing about solution two? Starts with the letter A. The word is alternatively, okay? So when you talk about solution two, you're going to say alternatively, because alternatively is like the word or, O-R, okay? Your company is only going to offer the early bird discount, or it will only offer coupons. It will not do both of them. That's why you use the word alternatively. All right, next. Do you need to give the advantages for all of the suggested solutions? Yes, you do. So remember, you only give disadvantages when you see the two solutions. Okay, only disadvantages when you see the solutions. But for all of them, you give the advantage. Okay. All right, so next question. Does the assessment give you the advantages and the disadvantages? No, you must add your own ideas. And students, adding your own ideas, this is a requirement of the end of module assignment. This is not optional. You must do this. If you don't add your own ideas and you don't add the advantages and disadvantages, do not expect a good grade. Okay, so be very, very careful of that. All right, next. Now here's a little bit of vocabulary that I've collected over the years. So we're going to do some vocabulary. All right, so we've got this word. This is premises. Notice what it means, the land and buildings that somebody owns. We've got security guards, so people who keep things safe or keep from people doing things without permission. We've got the word shabby. all right, meaning looking old and in bad condition. Now notice here it says for shabby, looking old and in bad condition, and then we've got the word condition right here, which means the particular state that something or someone is in. All right, next we've got shoddy. Now be careful. Shabby is an adjective, but it's S-H-A-B-B-Y. This is shoddy, S-H-O-D-D-Y. I know it looks very similar. All right, but, and it is, it also means something negative. Okay, they're both negative adjectives, but they have a little bit different meanings. Okay, and here's some examples. Okay, furniture. So I'm guessing most of you are sitting on at a chair right now and a desk, so that's furniture. All right, then we've got stuffy. Stuffy means there's no fresh air. So again, be careful because we've got a few words that start with SH or S and ends with Y, and you've got double letters here. So we've got shabby, which is in bad or old condition. We've got shoddy, which is badly made. And then we've got stuffy. If something is stuffy, if there's no fresh air, then you're going to need a good ventilation system. So here's ventilation. Here are examples. Here's ventilation system. Students, wait just one moment. I think there's a student trying to enter the class. Yeah. All right. So I hope you can still see the PowerPoint. Okay. So all right. So I hope you can see the PowerPoint. Let's continue. All right. Next, we've got the word renovate. This word used to be very popular on IB assessments, so make sure you know this one. Here's an example. We've got the word residence, people who live somewhere. We've got the word designate. It looks kind of like the word design, but now you can hear the G sound, so it's designate. Then we've got pointed out. You know, for this take-home assignment or end of module assignment, you know how you're going to say the customers said that, clients reflected that, staff members complained that. You can also use pointed out. So students pointed out that blah, blah, blah. Okay, wait a second. I think somebody else is, no, okay. So let's continue. All right, next we've got overcrowded or overcrowdedness. There's also the word over, just crowded. I think most people know what crowded is, but we can also use overcrowded, so it's really crowded, and that's the adjective. Overcrowdedness is the noun. Another word you'll see sometimes is hygienic, which is the adjective, and hygiene is the noun. Okay, or we also have inadequate. Inadequate is very popular on this end of module assignment, so make sure you know what it means. It can mean not good enough or low in quality, or it could also mean too small an amount. So both of these would work for some situations. Okay. All right. Next. Wait 1 second, students. Okay. Let me put this back up. I keep hearing clicking noises. So students, some people are trying to get into, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry that I'm a little off right now, but I keep hearing all these noises to get into the class from students. So it's messing things up. All right, students, remember when you enter the classroom to put your name in the chat box. All right, now, okay, we just talked about that one. All right, now it's quiz time. Okay, so to repair and improve something, especially a building, starts with the letter R. What is that word? All right, if you said renovate, good. All right, looking old and in bad condition. All right, so it starts with an S, ends with a Y. And it's got an A in it. The word is shabby. Okay, next, not good enough or too low in quality or in too small of amount. We just talked about this. Starts with the letter I. Inadequate, great. All right, things such as chairs, tables, beds to make living in a place more comfortable or working in that place starts with an F. Okay, if you said furniture, good. All right, a person who lives or has their home in a place starts with an R, ends with a T. Resident or residence, very good. All right, again, this PowerPoint is in your inbox. I sent it to you last week, just so you know. So to tell someone about some information, often because you believe they do not know it or have forgotten. 2 words. First word starts with P, second word starts with O. All right, pointed out. Next, someone whose job involves preventing people going into places without permission. or if you have to transport large amounts of money or protect goods from being stolen. 2 words. First word starts with S, second word starts with G. Security guard, good. I know I'm going a little quickly here, or I think I'm going quickly, but we've also got to talk about the end of module assignment. Okay, so here we go. To the degree to which people keep themselves or their environment clean, so the key word here is clean, especially to prevent disease, so this is very important right now. Starts with an H. Okay, hygienic is the adjective, hygiene is the noun. All right, next, a blank room or building is unpleasant because it has no fresh air. All right, so this word starts with an S, ends with a Y, and there's a U in it. All right, so the word is stuffy, okay? Containing too many people or things. So it's crowded, it's even more than crowded, it's really crowded. Starts with an O. Overcrowded is the adjective, overcrowdedness is the noun. Now, if you wanted to just say crowded, you could say crowded, and then the crowdedness would be the noun. All right. The land and building owned by someone, especially by the company or organization. Starts with a P, PR. The premises, very good. All right. I think somebody's trying to get into the classroom again, so give me just a moment. All right. Maybe not. Let's continue. Okay, so we talked about overcrowdedness. What's the next one? All right, we talked about premises. All right, to choose someone or something officially to do a particular job. Starts with the letter D. Okay, so the word is designate. Looks like design, but you can hear the G, designate. All right, badly and carelessly made using low quality materials. Starts with an S, ends with a Y, has an O in it. Okay, it's an adjective. Right, the particular state that something or someone is in. All right, starts with a C. Condition, good. Or if you were thinking condition, good. All right, the movement of fresh air around a closed space. So remember, if something is stuffy, there's no fresh air, then you need this. You need this kind of system. Starts with a V. The word is ventilation. This is a noun. Ventilation is the noun. Ventilate is the verb. All right, so that is our review. And again, this PowerPoint is in your inbox. All right, students, so we've got a lot we got to do now. Now that this end of module assignment is up on here. All right, let me see if I want to put it up on the screen because we need to talk about this. And it should be somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. All right, let me put it up here. Give me just a moment. This is it, right? Yeah, okay. Let's talk about the end of module assessment. Okay. All right, so students, hopefully you can see the end of module assessment in front of you. Okay. Students, please stop leaving the class and then coming back in because it's interrupting my teaching. Thank you. Let's continue. I hope you can see this. This is the end of module assignment. Okay, so I'm just going to read everything and I'll explain a few things. I can't explain everything because you're going to have to decide some of that for yourself. But here we go. All right, we've got Hong Kong Institute of Vocational Education, Land 3103, English and Communication Workplace Correspondence, end of module assignment 60%. Sorry, students. Wrong one. All right, end of module assignment 60%, semester 2, notes to students, submission deadline 4 May 2020. That's a Monday at 11:55 p.m. All right, that much you know already. All right, so assignment. Download the assignment task from your Moodle course after 12 noon. Oh, okay, so you can't download it until 12 noon. Okay, I just sent you 2 emails. One email I said you can download it, and the next email says you can't you can. Okay, I was incorrect. You can't download it until 12 noon. All right, after 12 noon on 23rd April. Okay, so that's today. You are required to write about 250 to 300 words to handle problems in incoming workplace correspondence. The task is on page 2 of this notes to students. Okay, you will be assessed on the following criteria. So how are the teachers going to mark you? All right, first we need to make sure that you understand the task situation and that you write an appropriate response to the task situation. Style and register. That just means remember that this is a workplace writing. You are writing to your boss, so keep that in mind. You're writing to your supervisor. So that's going to kind of affect your, that will affect your writing. Okay, cohesion and fluency. Cohesion and fluency is the organization of your paragraphs. If you organize your paragraphs in a similar way that I've given you the sample answers, you're fine. Cohesion means just like if you can see the relationship between all the ideas. Again, if you use a lot of the vocabulary and expressions and sentence patterns I've given you, you'll be fine. Range of vocabulary and expressions, all right, I've given you lots of those. Accuracy and grammar, we talk about that in each of our classes. All right, submission. The assignment must be typewritten on the answer booklet. So students, do not PDF me a file. Don't open up your own Word file. You use the one that has been provided for you in Moodle and use that one. Fill in the information on page 1 and then give your answer on page 2 and onwards. All right, the assignment must be uploaded onto Moodle on or before the deadline. Okay, so you need to upload your work on or before the deadline. Please follow the instructions on page 3 of 6 of these notes. So that's page 3 of 6 of this document. Please be reminded not to copy from any published online sources without acknowledgement or the work of other students. You should refer to the IB HKDI Student Handbook for regulation concerning assessments. Students, if you do copy, there could be consequences, so be careful about that. By submitting this assignment, you confirm that it is entirely your own work and does not involve plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying. Make sure you don't do that. Students found responsible for violating academic integrity will be penalized. So students, don't copy. All right, next, late submission. Students who fail to submit the assignment before the deadline because of a valid reason must submit the original relevant documentary evidence to the module teacher or language center no later than 3 working days after the submission deadline. So if the submission deadline is the 4th, you've got like the 5th, 6th, or 7th to give me a, or the language center, a document like from a hospital or doctor. So you've got 3 working days. Approval, disapproval for reassessment will be granted by the head of the language center. Approval, disapproval means my boss, my supervisor can go, okay, that's fine. Or my boss can say, no, that's not okay. If you do get approval, then upon approval, students should submit the assignment according to the instructions of the module teacher. All right, that's page 1. Any questions so far? Questions? No, not yet. Okay. Let's continue then. All right, if you can't see the screen, I think you should be able to, but if you can't, please let me know. All right, so now students, here is what you're going to be writing about. The task, you are Pat Wong. You work for Sai Kung Outdoor Recreation Center. Okay, if you don't know recreation, you're going to have to look that up. A holiday resort, if you don't know that word, you're going to have to look it up, for visitors to relax and enjoy the countryside. You have received the following email from your supervisor, Toby Lee. Read the email in Pat's handwritten notes below and your own ideas where appropriate. Add your own ideas where appropriate. Students, you must add your own ideas. Write an email in reply to Toby Lee. Write 250 to 300 words in the answer book provided. All right, notice what it says, in the answer book provided. So please write your answer on the answer book provided that is uploaded to Moodle. Okay, now a lot of students will start asking about the 250 to 300 words. We've talked about this a lot in the class, so I'm just going to remind you right now. Remember, the key word here is to be succinct. Okay, you need to be succinct, which means you need to write in a clear and short way, expressing what needs to be said without unnecessary words. Okay, if you write, 400, 450 words, can a teacher lower your mark? No, not really. If you wrote 1,000 words, maybe, but the thing is, it's if you included unnecessary words. If you include unnecessary words, that is what will lower your mark. If you do not include unnecessary words, then that's okay. Okay, so I hope you understand. If you have any questions about that, stop me now and ask me, or you can ask me later if you're more comfortable asking me when there aren't other people. I totally understand. All right, so that's succinct, and that's hopefully it helps you understand more about the 250 to 300 words. The 250 to 300 words is more like a guideline, okay? All right, so that's the top piece of information. Now the middle piece of information, remember we've talked about, this is your supervisor's email. Remember the subject line, complaints from visitors. All right, so that's the main problem here. So dear Pat, it has come to my attention that we have received some complaints from visitors in the past few months. They thought we were not providing quality services. I would really like to know the reasons for their dissatisfaction. Would you please look into the situation and let me have the details? I would also like you to come up with measures to solve the problems. Okay, if possible, I would like a reply by next Monday. Thank you very much, Toby. All right, now here's the part that you're going to really use a lot to help you do your writing. Remember, I told you on this side is the problems, and over here are the solutions. Now, here they call it solutions. Sometimes they call it suggestions. Remember, I told you with the problems, they will always give you two pieces of information, the problem and then more information about the problem in the brackets. So you'll notice they do that for each one. And over here is the solutions. I'm hoping that you can see that there is a big change, or not a big change, but there is something different from all of the other practice papers you've been given in class. Notice that here it says one suggestion required and one suggestion required. Okay, so that's different. Usually, in all of the other practice papers you've been given, it only has one suggestion required one time. Now they're making you add your own solution 2 times, and remember you have to add the advantage. So this is a little different than the practice papers you've been given, but you've been taught what you need to do when you see one suggestion required. You add your own suggestion, you add your own solution. Remember, suggestion and solution are the same thing. And remember, you have to add your own idea. You must explain why your solution or suggestion is good. All right, so that's one biggie thing. And then remember, this one is special when you see the / and the question mark, because they're the 2 solutions and you must give the advantage and disadvantage. All right, here we go. Let's talk about all of these. So problem 1, unclear signage. Okay, so the signs are not easy to understand. And it says difficult to locate facilities. All right, the solution, touchscreen digital directory in different areas. Okay, problem 2, inconvenient location. More information about that, only one suitable bus route. Then here you are going to have to offer your own suggestion or solution. Remember, you'll have to give an advantage of this solution. You're going to have to give an advantage of your own solution. Problem 3, disappointing experience. Okay, more information about that. Several facilities under repair, for example, gym room. Okay, the solutions, there are 2. Information about unavailable facilities on website. And remember, add the advantage and disadvantage. Alternatively, overhaul of center facilities. Add an advantage and disadvantage. All right, problem 4, unprofessional staff at reception. More information about that. For example, impolite, wrong info provided. Okay, then we have the solution, which is you have to add your own solution. And again, you have to add your own advantage. You have to explain why your solution or suggestion is good. If you say this will solve the problem, that is not good enough. You need to give more information that is connected to the problem. Okay, that's the end of the paper, students. That's what you're writing. 2 of your own solutions, not just one like in the practice papers. All right, whoops, what just happened? Oh, were you able to see that, students? What happened? Can you see that? I hope you were able to see that this whole entire time while I was talking. All right. I don't know what is going on, but Teams is being not so nice right now. Okay. I don't know what that was, but okay, I hope you can see that. All right, that's the end of the paper. So that's page 2. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I'm going to try to go through this quickly because you can read it. Now, after the paper that you need to write about, then they give you instructions on uploading the answer booklet to Moodle. All right, so here, I don't know why they've got that. Okay, I don't know what this is. So go to Moodle, students, and choose the English module for yourself, okay? And then, it's 3103. Oh, one thing about this assignment, the end of module assignment is at the very top of the page, which I say in my email, but just so you know. All right, it's going to be called end of module assignment 60%. Okay, you're going to click on that. Then you're going to see two things. You're going to see the notes to students and the answer booklet. Okay, these are the two things you're going to download. Then when you want to add your submission, you can click here. It says click the links to download the EA notes to students and answer booklet. Save your answer in your answer booklet. Name your file in this format. Students, please make sure you follow this when naming your file, because I have lots of students. So you need to name your file correctly, please, and thank you. Then let's see. Then it says you put it up here and upload, and then you can click Save Changes. It says drag and drop your answer booklet. Click Save Changes. Okay, and it says end of module assignment. So again, there they are. What is this about? You're required to, notice this one says draft not submitted. So you're going to say edit submission. So when you click edit submission, that means you can still make changes. Once you click submit assignment, that means you will not be able to make any more changes. So be careful of that. And it even says here, click edit submission if you want to make changes, maybe replace the submitted file with another one, and then click submit assignment. And notice it says, once you click submit assignment, you cannot make any more changes. In my email, students, I said you can only upload your assignment one time. So once you upload it, it's done. You can't turn in another piece of work. So please be careful. All right, then we've got confirm submission, and you're going to hit continue. So it says tick the box to accept the submission statement. And then which says this assignment is my own work, except where I have acknowledged the use of works of other people. You're going to say click continue to submit and no further changes can be made. Click cancel to go back to the previous step if you need to. All right, so that's continue and cancel. That's page 5. All right, says submission status, submitted for grading. So your answer book has been submitted. All right, students. That's the end of module assignment. And then if you want, so remember this is the paper here. And so here's the practice paper. And then here's all the information, how to upload and name your file. And then what's the other thing that I can show you? The answer booklet, I'll put it up here really quick just so you can see. Where is it? You know, let me put it up here first because I have so many files open. I don't think Teams can handle it personally. Let's see. All right, so here is what the answer booklet looks like. Okay, so again, it has the deadline. It even says answer booklet right here. Okay, tells you how to name your file. And then it says by submitting the assignment, you confirm that it is entirely your own work and does not involve plagiarism. Students found responsible for violating academic integrity will be penalized. You put all your information here. Don't worry about this. This is for teachers. And then you start typing here. Okay. All right. So that is everything. Okay. All right. So that's let's take home assignment or the end of module assignment, students. All right, so we started off class with a review of a PowerPoint that you were given. We've talked about the end of module assignments. Any questions right now about that, the end of module assignment? All right, now students, today is Thursday, the 23rd. This actually is our last class together, okay, because the 30th is a holiday. So next week is a holiday. We don't have class. And then Monday, the 4th, is when you have to submit your work. I'm going to be scheduling some extra practice. Extra practice will only be 1 hour, but I'll schedule some extra practices, and I will also make videos of the extra practice and put them up on Moodle, so that way if you can't go to the extra practice, there's the video. That will be happening starting maybe from tomorrow. I'm waiting for an email from my supervisor because they might give me some extra work I have to do. I'm not sure. So the extra practice might start tomorrow, but if it doesn't start tomorrow, it'll start Monday. And then I'll probably be putting up videos probably during the holiday next week. Okay. All right. So there's that. Let's continue now. I wrote you a new practice paper. I have not sent you the practice paper yet. I will send that to you this evening. So I'll put that up on the screen and we'll talk about it now. Okay. All right, so this is the new practice paper. It's at the top, it says extra practice problems with airplane. And then you can even see up here at the top, the document is named practice problems with airplane. Like I said, you don't have this yet. I will send it to you this afternoon. You probably won't receive it until probably somewhere between 5:30 and 6:30 this evening, because I've got a lot of teaching hours today. But I will send it to you, okay? So again, remember the first top pieces of information are basic information. Then you've got your supervisor's email, and then you've got the information that really, is really important that you'll be using, okay? All right, so in this situation, your name is Izzy Chan. You are the assistant interior designer for airplanes at Daft Airlines. You've received a following email from your supervisor, Taylor Lung. Read the email and your own notes below and write an email reply to Taylor. Make sure that you use appropriate language to explain cause and effects, to compare and contrast, to evaluate different alternatives, and to make recommendations. You should write about 300 words. Remember the 300 words. Remember, you just want to be succinct, all right? And then it says, do not forget to edit and proofread your email. Let's focus on this sentence right here. It says, make sure that you use appropriate language to explain cause and effect. Remember, we talked about cause and effect words. For example, therefore, as a result, therefore, as a result, consequently, because this will, since this will, those are all cause and effect words. We learned about those in document 7. So you can use those. You can use some of them maybe to introduce the problem or more information about the problem. Be careful how you use those, because that can be tricky, because sometimes the problem is the cause, sometimes more information about the problem is the cause. Sometimes the problem is the effect, sometimes more information about the problem is the effect. So because both of them can be either the cause or the effect, sometimes that messes students up. If you don't want to use cause and effect words to introduce the problem or more information about the problem, which is all this information over here, that's fine. I have given you lots and lots of other sentence patterns you can use to introduce this information. All right, you can use the effect words though. You can use the effect words to introduce the advantage of the solution. Okay, then it says compare and contrast and evaluate different alternatives. What does all that mean? All right, when these pieces of information, compare and contrast and evaluate different alternatives, is really for this one, the special one. Remember the special one that has the / and question mark, because there are two solutions. So you're comparing and contrasting the two solutions. And how do you compare and contrast them? By evaluating them. How are you evaluating them? When you give the advantage and disadvantage of the solution 1 and solution 2, that means you're evaluating them, okay? Then it says make recommendations. You might be like, wait a minute, I don't see the word recommendations on here. That's okay. When they ask you to make recommendations, that means basically give a solution or make a suggestion for the solution. Okay, so don't worry about that. All right, so that's what that's saying. All right, now let's go here. Here's your supervisor's email. Remember, the subject line is important because the subject line can help you write one of the sentences in your opening paragraph. So let's see, the subject line here says problems with economy interiors. So remember these words, problems with economy interiors. We go down to the sample answer here, and you see the words right here. The problems with the economy interiors. So when you have to say the main problem, the big problem of the supervisor's email, you can use the subject line right here to finish that first sentence, okay? All right, then here it says, Dear Izzy, there has been a significant decrease in our customers. Sorry, students, I'm going to make this a little bigger. There has been a significant decrease in our customer satisfaction level this past year with the company. The feedback concerning the new design of our economy cabins is quite unfavorable. Please would you take a look at the problems with the design of the economy cabins and suggest what we need to do to solve them. Can I have your reply by the end of this week? Please, thanks, Taylor. All right, so remember your boss's email is going to include the subject line to help you write one of the sentences in the opening paragraph. Then it will kind of give you more information about the problem, which is right here. Your boss will ask you to find what the problems are. Those problems are these 4 down here. And then your boss is going to ask you to solve those problems, which brings us to the next part. This is probably the biggest, most important part of the assignment, end of module assignment, because this is all the information you're going to use. So on this side, remember, are the problems, and on this side is the suggestions. You will not see this on the end of module assignment. You're not going to see the words advantage, add your idea. I'm just reminding you, you need to add an advantage for each suggested solution. Okay? All right, and that's an idea. It's not given to you on the paper. All right, so remember, for the problems, they actually give you two pieces of information. First piece of information is the problem. Second piece of information in the bracket is more information about the problem. And they do that for all of them. All right, so let's go over these. So we've got, for problem number 1, cramped seats, tray tables. So remember, we're talking about problems on an airplane. All right, more information about that, limited knee room. How do we fix this problem? Bifold tray tables. And then remember, you need to add your own idea and give the advantage of the solution or suggestion. All right, problem 2, individual reading lights, too bright, more information, brightness of lights, and then X adjusted. Remember, X means cannot be adjusted. Okay, then you need, it says 1 suggestion required, which means you need to add your own suggestion or add your own solution. And then again, you need to add the advantage, your own idea. Remember, notice this, you only see 1 suggestion required. You only see this 1 time on all the practice papers. Remember, on the end of module assignment, you see this 2 times. So 2 different times on end of module assignment, you're going to have to add your own suggestion and add the advantage of that suggestion. All right, problem 3, poor seat design. More information about that. Uncomfortable seat, back angle for long haul flights. All right, we've got the solution is provide a cushion and newly designed seats with increased recline angle. And again, remember, you need to add the idea of the advantage. All right, and we'll talk about this again in just a second. All right, problem 4, not enough overhead compartments. More information about that. Increased size of carry-on luggage permitted under Airport Council's new rule, which means the compartments are full. Now, students, this is not usual that they give you so much information, and you will notice on the end of module assignment, they don't give you this much information as more information for the problem. All right, then over here, remember, this one is special. You have 2 solutions. How do you know this is special and has 2 solutions? Because you see the / and the question mark. So this is solution 1. You need to give the advantage and disadvantage, which means you add your own ideas. This is a requirement of the end of module assignment. Then when you talk about solution 2, you need to say the words alternatively. Alternatively, we could redesign the compartment with larger storage capacity, and you give the advantage and disadvantage of doing this. Again, those are added ideas. Okay, anything else I can say about that? All right, so those are those ideas. Now, let's go to here. Here's the sample answer. Okay, remember, the opening paragraph, you are going to provide 5 pieces of information in 4 sentences. First, you're going to say thank you and say the main problems. So you can say thank you for your email about the problems with economy interiors. Remember, where can you get this information? You can use the subject line from your boss to help you write that piece of information. Okay? All right, after you say thank you and say the major or big problem, then you want to let your boss know that you've tried to find the problems. So you can say, I have looked into the situation and found that. After the words found that, you want to summarize the problems. When you summarize the problems, don't use any adjectives. So you can see here, the problems are related to tray tables, reading lights, seats, and overhead compartments. So you'll notice that poor, the adjective was not used. Individual and cramped, these are all adjectives. They were not used in the opening paragraph. You will use them in the paragraphs when you talk about the problems, but not the opening paragraph. Then you want to tell your boss that you have found some solutions. So you can say, I would like to make some suggestions that could solve the problems. All right, then we are going to start talking about the problems. Okay. Okay, so let me go back to this paper here. No. Students, sorry, I had to stop really quick. Okay. So we're going to talk about the problems. Remember, when you talk about the problems, you're going to, in your paragraph, you want to talk about the problem first, then give more information about the problem, and then say the solution. Steps 1 through 3 are on the end of module assignment paper. They're given to you. They do not, a paper does not provide the advantage of the solution, so you have to add that. All right, so problem comes first. So you can say, first of all, passengers commented that their seats are quite cramped when they open their tray tables. That's a problem. More information about that, due to limited knee room. Now for the solution, we should consider the possibility of using bifold tray tables. What's the advantage? To save seat space. All right, next, problem 2. Remember, you want to start off with the problem. So you can say, in addition, we have also received complaints from customers that, and then the problem is the individual reading lights are too bright. And then we have to give more information about the problem because the brightness cannot be adjusted. Then you want to give the solution. Remember, all 3 of these things are on the paper, are on the end of module assignment paper. So you can say, I would like to suggest that we install brightness controls of the armrest. Then you need to add the advantage of the solution. This is your added idea. You can say, so that passengers can make adjustments according to their needs. All right, then problem 3. Problem 3 is a little special. You'll notice because you see solution blue, you see there's 2, and then you see the advantage in gray here 2 times. Let me explain, that's what I needed to do up here. What is the difference between this and this? So really, what is the difference between this little plus sign, and then when you see the forward slash and the question mark? Luckily, I don't think this is on the end of module assignment. They didn't give you one like this. Let me check really quick and make sure. Yeah, they didn't, which is good. I'm glad they didn't. Okay, let me go back to this paper. Is it this one? Where is it? All right, where are you? Students, now I can't find my document anymore. Give me just a moment, I apologize. Here we go, sorry about that. Now, I will say this right now, on the end of module assignment, they don't have one of these, and I'm glad they don't, but let me explain. When you see this word means and. This means the company will do this, and the company will do this. So that means the company will take 2 actions, okay? And you only need to write about the advantages. When you see the forward slash and question mark, this does not mean and, okay? I'm going to repeat, does not mean and. It means your company will only do one action. Your company will do this, or your company will do this. It will not do both. That's why you cannot, 不可以, use the word and. You have to use the word alternatively, which means or, because your company will only do one action. The other thing about this is you need to talk about the advantage and disadvantage of this one and the advantage and disadvantage of this solution, okay? Also, you must talk about both. Don't go, oh, I like this one. I'm going to talk about this one. No, you have to talk about the 2 of them, okay? And you do not need to recommend one. So after you talk about the 2 of them, maybe you're like, oh, I'm going to recommend this one. You don't need to do that. You just need to present information about both of them, meaning you need to say the solution, give the advantage and disadvantage, say the solution, give the advantage and disadvantage. So that's the difference between the 2. But again, you do not see this on the end of module assignment. All right, yay. But on this paper, you do. So we're going to talk about this next. So here we go. So first, remember, you say the problem and then more information. So this one's a nice, easy, I think, sentence pattern. It says, poor seat design is another issue. Passengers complain that, so here's more information. There was an uncomfortable seat back angle for long-haul flights. Then we need to say the solution. To address this issue, we could provide passengers with cushions, and now the solution, now the advantage, to minimize their discomfort, or you can say to minimize their back strain. All right, then we have this other solution. So it says in the long run, we should install newly designed seats with an increased recline angle, and the advantage of that is for passengers' comfort. All right, next, problem 4. Now, problem 4, remember, this is the special one. This is the one where you see the forward slash and the question mark. So you're going to talk about 2 solutions and give the advantage and disadvantage of each. Now, your paragraph starts off the same way, just like the others, with the problem, more information about the problem, and then the solution. So you see that right here, problem, more information about the problem. But then after the solution, you need to give the advantage and the disadvantage, and then you're going to do that again. Give the solution advantage and disadvantage because there's 2 solutions. Okay, so you can start your paragraph off with, finally, customers reflected that, and then say the problem. There are not enough overhead compartments. Then you want to give the reason or more information. So you can say an increase in size of carry-on luggage is permitted under the Airport Council's new rule. As a result, the compartments are quite full. This is a little bit strange, students. They never give you this much information for more information, but they did here. but that's unusual. All right, now we want to talk about solution 1. So you can say one possible solution would be to, and then the solution is limit the amount of carry-on luggage allowed on flights. What's the advantage of that? You can write, which can help ensure there is enough space for each passenger's luggage. Okay, then you want to give the disadvantage, so you can say, but this might result in negative feedback from our customers. All right, then you want to introduce the second solution, so we're going to use the word alternatively. Alternatively, we could redesign the compartments with a larger storage capacity. That's solution 2. Then we want to give the advantage, since it will let passengers fit their luggage into the compartments, and then the disadvantage. However, it takes time and money to change the overhead compartments. All right, those are all the problems. Now, please, it says here, remember one of the problems you will have to think of your own solution, and you must add your own idea. What is this? What is this advice about? This is about this one here, when you have to add your own suggestion. But remember, for the end of module assignment, it's different now. Now there are going to be 2. There are going to be 2 solutions where you see this. Okay, so you're going to see this 2 times. So 2 different times you're going to have to add your own solution. Okay, so you must add ideas on the end of module assignment. If you do not add ideas, there's a very, very good chance you will fail. If you only write the words that are given on the paper and that is all, you will not do well. So be careful. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to prepare you. Okay, so that's that. Then it says here, the test or the end of module assignment does not give you the advantages or the disadvantages. You must add your own ideas. And I notice the word must. It is not optional. You must add your own ideas. It is a requirement. All right, paragraph 6 is the closing. These 2 sentences are enough and will work in any situation. So these are the 2 sentences. I'll be honest, students, you can just copy and paste this on your answer, okay? So I hope the above recommendations help to address the situation. Please let me know if you would like further information or action. Regards. And then whatever your name is in the situation, put your name down here. So if your name's John, don't write John. So when I say use the name that's given to you, it's right here. So remember, you are Izzy, and it says Dear Izzy, so that's why we wrote, where is it? We wrote Izzy down here, okay? All right, now we need to talk about the phrases and sentence patterns you can use to talk about the problem. Let me go back up here so that you can talk about the problem, more information about the problem, the solution, and advantage of the solution. So since you're going to start your paragraph talking about the problem, what sentence patterns can you use? All right, let's talk about that first. So now we're talking about words to introduce the problem, more information about the problem, suggested solutions, advantages, and disadvantages. Please note that P equals problem, so P1 is problem 1, P2 is problem 2, and so on. So here are the useful phrases. These are the sentence patterns you can use to introduce the problem. So for problem 1, it says, first of all, passengers commented that their seats are quite cramped when they open their tray tables. Right, what can you copy? What can you use? You can say, first of all, because we're talking about the first problem, then you're going to need to say a group of people. Whoever did the complaining, that's the group of people. So since this is airlines and we're talking about an airplane, the group of people that complained were the passengers. So you're going to just have to change this word for whatever fits the situation in the end of module assignment. Okay? Then you can say, commented that. After the word that, you're going to need a noun, which is your subject. You're going to need a verb, and if you want to, you can have an adjective including more information. So here we have their seats. That's the subject of your that clause. That's a noun. We have the verb are, then adjective, which is quite cramped, and then more information would be when they open their tray tables. Okay. Now, this sentence pattern might not work for every problem. So I've given you lots of sentence patterns. You're going to have to choose which one works best for the information given to you on the end of module assignment. Right, for problem 2, it says, in addition, we have also received complaints from customers that the individual reading lights are too bright. So what can you copy? You can say, in addition, we have also received complaints from, then you need to say the group of people that complained, that, and then again, because you have a that clause, you need a subject, verb, and adjective. So here we have the individual reading lights is the subject, are is our verb, and too bright is the adjective. Okay, now if you're wondering where are all these adjectives coming from, remember up on the paper they do give you adjectives. So here we have cramped, we've got too bright, we've got poor, and not enough. Okay, so they do give you adjectives on here. Usually the adjectives come first and then the noun after. All right, so, well, that's actually how it works in English. Adjectives come before nouns. Okay, so let's talk about how to introduce problem 3. This one's a nice, easy one, in my opinion. It says poor seat design is another issue, because issue is another word for problem. So you need a subject, and then after the subject you write is another issue. So for here, the subject is the problem, and the problem is a noun phrase. So the noun phrase is a group of words with no verbs. So on this practice paper, you're going to see me use the word noun phrase a lot. We've talked about it in class before, but let me just remind you what a noun phrase is. Okay, noun phrase. It's a group of words in a sentence that together behave as a noun. A noun phrase can have a gerund. A gerund is a word that ends in ing, and that is made from a verb, and it is used, keyword here, used like a noun. Okay, so there's gerund. We've talked about this before. A noun phrase can have verb ing, which is a present participle, after the noun and gives more information about the noun. So basically, there are no verbs in noun phrases, okay? But there can be words that look like verbs, because I'm sure you're thinking, well, if it's got ing, it must look like a verb. But the word is not acting like a verb. Okay, it's doing something else. So that's more information about noun phrase, and that's at the end of this document. All right, so let's continue. All right, so we've got poor seat design is another issue. So your subject is going to be the problem, and the problem needs to be written in a noun phrase, so no verbs, and then you can write is another issue. All right, for problem 4, you can write, finally, customers reflected that there are not enough overhead compartments. So the sentence pattern is finally. We use the word finally because it's the 4th problem, the last problem. Then you're going to say the group of people reflected that. Then you need a subject, verb, and more information. So there's your subject, are is your verb, not enough overhead compartments is more information. There are, there is, there was, there were can often work as your subject and verb for that clauses, but sometimes they don't work. So just be careful if you're going to use there is, there are, there was, there were. All right, now, after in your paragraph, after you talk about the problem, you're going to want to give more information or details about the problem. So now we're going to talk about sentence patterns you can use to give more information about the problem. So that's what we're focusing on here. Okay, giving more information about the problem. So for problem 1, more information was due to limited knee room. So it says you can copy due to, and then because it's due to, you can only have a noun phrase. You cannot have a verb here. And we've already talked about noun phrase. Now you might be looking at this going, wait a minute, limited looks like a verb to me because it has ed, but notice it says limited is acting like an adjective in this sentence, not a verb. Okay. For problem 2, the extra information is because the brightness cannot be adjusted. So what do we have here? You have because and then your subject and verb. Usually with because, you need SVO or you need at least SV. So they only have SV here. So subject is brightness, verb is cannot be adjusted. Why did they only give you SV and not SVO? Because you will notice they wrote in passive voice. So if you want to write in passive voice with because, it will be because and then subject and verb. If you want to write because with active voice, it's going to be because SVO. Okay? All right, for problem 3, more information about problem 3 is passengers complained that there was an uncomfortable seat back angle for long haul flights. What can you use? You can say the group of people that complained, then you can say complained that, and then you're going to need a subject, verb, and more information. So again, here they used there and was as the subject and verb, and then gave more information. Okay, an uncomfortable seat back angle for long haul flights. Okay, which, by the way, is a noun phrase. There's no verbs here, but we'll just leave it at that. You could possibly have a verb in here if you want, maybe, depending on how you write your sentence. All right, for problem 4, more information about it. In a sample answer, it says an increase in size of carry-on luggage is permitted under the Airport Council's new rule. As a result, the compartments are quite full. So I wrote for P4, there aren't specific words you can use. It's basically they're just giving you an explanation of the problem. Now, yes, there's SVO in this sentence. Like here's all of this is your subject, right? An increase in size of carry-on luggage is your subject. We've got is permitted, that's your verb. and then you've got extra information here. But other than SVO, there's really nothing you can like copy or use. Like here, I'm giving you a sentence pattern, and here I'm kind of giving you a phrasal pattern. But here, there's really no pattern you can follow other than SVO. All right, students, give me just a moment. I'm going to need to stand up. Okay, so now we have talked about words and sentence patterns you can use to introduce the problem, words and patterns you can use to introduce more information about the problem. Now we're going to talk about words and sentence patterns you can use to introduce the solution or talk about the solution. So we're going to go to here next. So that is this phrases or sentence patterns to introduce the solution. So for problem 1, the solution is we should consider the possibility of using bifold tray tables. So what can you use? You can say we should consider the possibility of. After the word of, you need a verb, ing, and then after that, you need a noun or a noun phrase. So remember, no verbs in there. Okay, for problem 2, the solution is I would like to suggest that we install brightness controls on the armrest. So what can you use? You can say I would like to suggest that we. Then after we, you need a verb with no ing, ed, or s, and then more information. So we've got install has no ing, ed, or s, that's our verb, and then brightness controls on the armrest. Again, you will notice that this is basically a noun phrase, but I'm just going to say more information because sometimes you might be able to include more than just a noun phrase. All right, why is there no verb ing, ed, or s? It's because the verb is part of a that clause, okay? All right, for problem 3, remember problem 3 is kind of special because you've got 2 solutions and the company will do both of them. That's why we have this little plus sign. All right, so for the first one, it says to address this issue, we could provide passengers with cushions. So what can you use? You can say to address this issue, comma, we could, and then verb, and then more information. All right, more information about the solution. So notice here the verb does not have ing, ed, or s because you have the word could in front of the verb, okay? And could, like we talked about in class, is a modal. The word could and the word should are modals. They cannot be by themselves. They have to have a verb after them, meaning you could not say, we could passengers with cushions. You have to have a verb here. So we have to have the verb, we could provide. Okay, the other grammar rule about could and should is that they need a verb and that verb cannot have ing, ed, or s, okay? All right, so for the second solution in here, it says in the long run, we should install newly designed seats with an increased recline angle. So what can you use? What can you write? You can say in the long run, comma, we should, verb, no ing, no ed, no s, and then continue your sentence with the solution. Again, the verb doesn't have anything at the end of it because you've got the word should in front of it. All right, for problem 4, remember problem 4 is the special one. This is the one where you've got solution 1 and solution 2, and you're going to have to talk about the advantages and disadvantages. But first, let's talk about the solution. So it says one possible solution would be to limit the amount of carry-on luggage allowed on flights. What can you use? You can say one possible solution would be to, then a verb and more information. Again, this verb does not have ing, ed, or s because it has to in front of it, and that is an infinitive. Okay, and then remember, more information, this would be the solution, that you would put the rest of the solution here. The verb is part of the solution, but the reason why I'm putting it in a different color is just to remind you that you will need to add a verb. Sometimes the end of module assignment will give you the verb and sometimes it will not. So you just have to be careful. If they don't give you a verb, you have to put a verb in there. All right, for problem 4, the solution 2 was alternatively, we could redesign the compartments with a larger storage capacity. So you could write alternatively, comma, we could, and then verb, and then continue your sentence with the rest of the solution. Again, ing, ed, or s is not at the end of the verb because you have could in front of it. All right, which students, that makes me think of something really quick. Give me just a second. Yeah. I'm looking at the end of module assignment right now. For one of them, they give you a verb, but for everything else, they don't. So you're going to have to add some of your own verbs here. All right, so let me go back to that paper we were working on. Okay, so we just finished talking about the sentence patterns to give the solution, okay? Because first you're going to start your paragraph with the problem, then more information about the problem, then you're going to talk about the solution. Remember, all three pieces of this information are provided on the end of module assignment paper. The advantage of the solution or the advantage of the suggestion is not provided on the end of module assignment, but you need to add it. You have to add your own idea. So we're going to talk about advantages of the solution or suggestion next. All right, so, and again, you do not have this document, but I will be sending it to you this evening. All right, so phrases and sentence patterns to introduce the advantage, which is your added idea. So for problem 1, the advantage of the solution was to save seat space. So what can you use? You can have to plus verb and then a noun phrase. Okay, remember we've talked about a noun phrase today. All right, 2, you've got a verb with no ing, ed, or s on it because you have to in front of it, and that is infinitive. Okay. For problem 2, the advantage of the solution was so that passengers can make adjustments according to their needs. So what can you write? You can write so that, then you need the group of people. The group of people is the subject of your that clause. Then you can write can plus verb and then more information, the rest of the advantage. Again, the verb here has no ing, ed, or s because you have can in front of it. Okay, for problem 3, remember this one's also kind of special because you've got 2 different solutions, and the company will do both of the solutions. So the first one is to minimize their discomfort, or you can say to minimize their back strain. So both of these follow the same pattern. So you can use the word to plus verb and then a noun or a noun phrase. And again, the verb doesn't have ing, ed, or s because you have to in front of it because that is infinitive. Okay? All right, then for the next one, it says for passengers' comfort. So what can you use? You can write for, then the noun or noun phrase. Now here, I know that this is a group of people, but it doesn't always have to be a group of people in the sentence pattern. You can use for and then give other kind of information. So that's why I didn't say group of people here. But yes, for this one, it is a group of people, which are the passengers. All right, for problem 4, solution 1, the advantage is which can help ensure there is enough space for each passenger's luggage. All right, so what can you use? You can say which can help ensure, and then after ensure, you need a subject, verb, and more information. So we have there is our subject, verb is, and then enough space for each passenger's luggage. Now here the verb is because it's a be verb because we're using it with the adjective enough. But it doesn't always have to be is or a be verb. It could be something else. But just remember, ensure requires a subject, verb, and then more information. Okay, so we've got that. For problem 4, solution 2, the advantage is since it will let passengers fit their luggage into the compartments. So what can you use? You can say since it will, verb, group of people, another verb, and more information. Now remember, this sentence pattern will not work everywhere, just like all these other sentence patterns. They will not work everywhere all the time. You're going to have to look at the information given to you on the end of module assignment and choose which sentence pattern you can use. And it also depends on how you choose to write your sentence and form your own ideas. So here you start off with since it will, then you've got a verb, no ing, ed, or s because you've got will in front of the verb. And then we've got a group of people. And so this extra information after the group of people, this information is connected and has a relationship with the group of people that you're talking about. We've got a verb, no ing, no ed, s, and that's just because the way we started off our sentence was so it will let, and then the group of people, so that's why this one can't have a ing, ed, or s on the verb. And then you've got more information, the rest of the advantage of the solution. All right, so we just finished talking about the advantages, which is an idea you have to add. All right, so that's how you write your paragraph. You talk about the problem, more information about the problem, give the solution, and then you have to add your own idea, which is the advantage. But remember, there is a special one. When you see the forward slash and the question mark, you not only talk about the advantage for solution 1 and 2, you have to give the disadvantage. So we need to talk about how to give the disadvantage. Okay, so let's look at that. Here's somewhere here. Here we are with the disadvantage. So remember, you have to add your own idea when you see the forward slash and question mark. So for problem 4, solution 1, the disadvantage was, but this might result in negative feedback from our customers. So you're going to start the you're going to start the sentence with the advantage, then you're going to have a comma, and then you're going to have the rest of the sentence with the disadvantage. So here again, you're going to start the sentence with the advantage, write the comma, and then, but this might result in, and then write a noun phrase here. And again, remember we talked about noun phrase. Okay, for solution 2, the disadvantage was, however, it takes time and money to change the overhead compartments. So what could you use? It says, however, comma, it takes time and money to, verb, and then a noun phrase. And the verb has no ing, ed, or s because you've got to in front of it, which is an infinitive. All right, now, again, just like I said about all these other phrases, sometimes you can use this disadvantage of it takes time and money too, but sometimes this idea might not work. So again, it depends on the information they give you on the end of module assignment. You're going to have to see which sentence patterns you can use. All right, so we just talked about sentence patterns you can use to introduce the disadvantage. All right, and we've not only talked about all these phrases and sentence patterns you can use, we've talked about the sample answer to this practice paper, okay? And remember, the name of the document is Practice Problems with Airplane. I will send it to you this evening. All right, so now what we need to talk about is this one here. How do we talk about the advantages and disadvantages? Because this will probably be your longest paragraph in your end of module assignment. Now, I believe we started talking about this document last week, and I think we only got to the first one or second one. Maybe we didn't even start it. So let me put it up here. Okay. And now we're going to talk about it. So if we talked about this last week, and I think we may have started the first or second one, but then we had to stop. Maybe we did not start at all. So stop me or say something. But I'm going to just start from the very first one. Okay. So let me explain about this document. Number one, you do not have this document yet. I haven't sent it to you. So tonight I will also send this document to you. Okay. All right. So what is this document about? It's about writing the paragraph for solution 1 and solution 2. Okay. Remember, I put these in pink and I try to make these big just to remind you when you see that forward slash and question mark, you know that you are talking about solution 1 and solution 2. All right. Remember to use the word alternatively when you start talking about the solution 2. And when you also need to talk about the advantage and disadvantage. When you talk about the advantage and disadvantage, which are your added ideas, you need to use words like although, however, or but. All right, so in this paper, when I send it to you tonight, because we are going to go through this together, and I'm going to start highlighting things, okay? We're going to highlight alternatively blue. We're going to highlight the advantages yellow, disadvantages green. I will highlight the solutions gray, so that color is gray, okay? And I say it again here. Advantages are highlighted in yellow, disadvantages are in green. And then words that are used, not sued. No. Oh, I sent this to my students last night and I spelled it incorrectly, students. That's not good. All right, words in bold can be used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage. Okay, so let's see. We've talked about alternatively. I hope you know what that means. Actually, if you don't know what it means, we'll go over it again because this word is so important. Students, don't use and or the word also when talking about the two solutions. You need to use alternatively. All right, so here's the word alternatively. Used to suggest another possibility. Okay, so that's alternatively. Please be careful of that. Okay. So now let's go back to the document. Okay, so I'm going to go through here for each one, and I'm going to highlight the word alternatively. Okay, so we've got alternatively here, and I'm going to put it in blue. And we've got alternatively right here, and I'm going to put it in blue. And here, there it is. So remember, you must use alternatively when you start talking about solution 2. All right, now, when you're talking about the advantages and disadvantages, you really want to use words like although, however, or but. So I'm sure you know how to use some of these words in English, but there might be a few students who do not. So we're going to talk about that. What do although, however, and but mean? So we're going to go down here. Okay. We've got the word although, we've got the word but, and we've got the word however. Okay, so here's although, here's the word but, which I'm sure most of you are quite familiar with and comfortable with, and then we've got the word however. Now notice the word however, they say means despite this. Yes, it does, but please do not, I repeat, do not use the words despite this on the end of module assignment. A lot of people use the phrase despite this the wrong way, and however doesn't, how can I say this? Despite this won't always work on the end of module assignment, but the word however will, okay? So just be careful of that. Sometimes although, but, and however are used for different things in English, but for this end of module assignment, they will do the same job when you talk about the relationship between the advantage and the disadvantage, okay? So be careful. So you can use although, but, or however. Do not use despite this, okay? It won't really work and it will sound strange on the end of module assignment. So although, but, and however. All right, great. Now, let's talk about what they look like in a sentence. Again, you probably know this, but I'm going to just treat this as a review. And for those of you who don't know, we'll talk about it now. So these are sentence patterns for the advantage and disadvantage. So A is advantage, D is disadvantage. So for although, you're going to put the advantage and disadvantage together in one sentence. So although goes at the beginning of the sentence, then you can talk about the advantage, then you need a comma, and then you can write about the disadvantage full stop. Or if you want to, you can put the disadvantage first and then the advantage. Okay? All right, and but is also this similar because you can put the advantage and disadvantage together in one sentence. But although goes at the beginning of the sentence, but goes in the middle. So here you can start your sentence with the advantage, put a comma, then you have the word but, and then finish your sentence with the disadvantage and full stop. Again, if you want to talk about the disadvantage first, that's fine, but you'll need the word, you'll need a comma in the word but, and then the advantage at the end, full stop. Okay, so although and but are used to put the advantage and disadvantage together in one sentence. And although is at the beginning, but is in the middle of the sentence. All right, now, and they both require commas. Now, for however, you can use however to talk about the advantage and the disadvantage, but however, you will put the advantage and disadvantage in two separate sentences. So in one sentence, you can talk about the advantage first, full stop, start your new sentence with however, comma, and then talk about the disadvantage. Or you can put the disadvantage first and then start a new sentence with however, comma, and then the advantage. That's the difference. However, you're going to put the advantage and disadvantage in two separate sentences. The other thing I want to say now, I know I'm just writing A and D here as the advantage and the disadvantage. Obviously, your sentences will require a subject and a verb, but I'm just trying to give you the most basic information. All right, so we've talked about although, but, and however. We've talked about their sentence patterns, and we've talked quickly about what they mean. Okay, so because remember, you're going to need to use although, however, and but when you're talking about the advantages and disadvantages. These words show you the relationship between the advantage and the disadvantage. All right, now, before we do anything else, let me talk to you about all this other stuff here. So I have given you 4 paragraph examples. So this is our first one, this is our second one, this is our third one, and this is our fourth one, number 4. All right, so what am I doing here? In the box, you'll see all this information. Oops. You'll see all this information in the box. So in here, this information is from the Institute of Professional Education practice paper. So over here is the problem, more information about the problem, and then here are the 2 solutions. Remember, I've told you the / and the question mark are really important. So we've got the / and the question mark. So early bird enrollment discount is solution 1. Book coupons to participants is solution 2. So here is the information from the practice paper, and here is all of this information written in a paragraph. And you have this answer, but I've just taken out this one paragraph when we're talking about this information. And same for the next one. This information is from the practice paper called Sunshine Hotel, which was sent to you 2 or 3 weeks ago, or maybe even 4 weeks ago, okay? But again, here's the problem, more information about the problem, and here's solution 1 and 2. And remember, you know it's solution 1 and 2 because you have the / and the question mark. And again, all of this information is in a practice sample paragraph right here, okay? Again, you have this answer, and you've got the paper. But now I'm just focusing on this paragraph when you have to talk about the 2 solutions. All right, the next one, I don't know if this is actually from week 10, but it's from the practice called Wan Chai Tennis Club. Again, here's the problem and more information about the problem, and then here are the 2 solutions. So remember, here's our / and question mark, provide training to bartenders and only sell canned drinks. That's solution 1 and 2. And here is the possible way that you could write all this information in a paragraph. And one more. We have this one. I believe we used this one. This one's called company website. These are problems with the company website. I think we did this the last class we had together. Okay, so again, the problem and more information on the problem is here. And then remember, here we have our / and question mark. So here's solution 1, here's solution 2. So all of this information from the practice paper has been put into a sample paragraph for you. Again, you will see this paragraph in the sample answer that I've given you. But I've taken it out here because we're focusing on how to write the paragraph for the / and question mark. All right, I've already highlighted alternatively in blue in each of them because remember, you want to use the word alternatively when you start talking about solution 2. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a few things. First, we're going to find solution 1 and 2, and we're going to highlight those in gray. Then we're going to find the advantage of solution and the disadvantage of solution 1. And we're going to highlight the advantage and disadvantage in yellow and green. And then we're going to do the same thing for solution 2. Okay. After that, we'll look at which words were used to talk about the advantage and disadvantage, such as although, however, or but. And we will also talk about the words that were used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage, and we'll put those in bold. All right, so let's begin. So we have, remember, the solution is early bird enrollment discount or book coupons to participants. So we have, in addition, negative comments were received concerning the expensive course fee, which has increased by 15% from last year. To improve the situation, I suggest offering an early bird enrollment discount. All right, so here is solution 1. Okay, now we have, although the discount might result in a slight decrease in income, it will attract more people to join our training courses. All right, where is the advantage and where is the disadvantage? Which one is which? Now, although it might result in a slight decrease in income, this is the disadvantage. Why is it the disadvantage? Because it says slight decrease in income. So income is profit. So if your company is making less money or less profit, that's a disadvantage. But then it says it will attract more people to join our training courses. So that is the advantage. Okay. And remember, like I said, I'm going to highlight the advantage in yellow, disadvantage in green. Right now, which word did we use to show the relationship between the advantage and disadvantage? They used the word although. Okay, whoops, not that one. All right, so that's why it's in red, and I put them in red here, okay? All right, now let's go to solution 2. Remember, solution 2 is book coupons. So it says, alternatively, the company could give out book coupons. All right, so here's solution 2. All right, then it says, which can benefit the course participants and will not involve too much expense. However, some administrative work will be involved in purchasing and distributing the coupons. All right, so where's the advantage? Where's the disadvantage? Starting with which can. All right, so if you said this is the advantage, you are correct. And this is the disadvantage. The administrative work will be involved in distributing the coupons. All right, which word did they use to show a relationship between the advantage and disadvantage? They used the word however. Okay, so we got that here. All right, now we've done most of the steps. The one we did not do is this one. We need to do this step now. Words in bold can be used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage. All right, so let's see. we've got the discount might result in a slight decrease in income. Okay, so what words were used to introduce the disadvantage? If you said might result in, you are correct. Okay, this was the words that you were used to then talk about the disadvantage. Okay, so let's see. Now we're going to look at it will attract more people to join our training courses. That's the advantage. What word or words were used to introduce the advantage? The answer is will attract. Now, this is the thing. You got to be careful. Like we talked about earlier with can, could, or should, will is the same way. Will has to have a verb after it. So here's our verb attract. But I'm only going to put the verb will in here. I will only put will in bold because the thing is, attract is a really good verb. It's a good verb you can use, but it won't work all the time. If you're talking about attracting more people or customers, then you can use it. But remember, for each situation or piece of information on the end of module assignment, it's going to be different. So attract might not work in every situation. So that's why I'm not going to put it in bold. I'm just going to put will. But just remember, when you use will, you do need a verb after it with no ing, ed, or s because will is in front of it. But you might be able to use attract, just so you know. Right, for the next one, it says, which can benefit the course participants and will not involve too much expense. All right, which words were used to introduce the advantage? Okay, if you said which can, you are correct. Now again, just like will, can requires a verb after it, and the verb here is benefit. Again, that's a very good verb. Benefit's a good verb, but like I said earlier, it might not work in every situation, so you're going to have to decide which verb is best to use. And again, no ing, ed, or s because can is in front of it. All right, now for the disadvantages, it says some administrative work will be involved in purchasing and distributing the coupons. Which words were used to introduce the disadvantage? Okay, if you said will be involved, you are correct. Now this is passive voice, so you could also use will involve. Okay, when something you use this to give negative information, like, oh, this will involve a lot of money, this will involve a lot of time, this will involve a lot of people, this will involve a lot of manpower. So you use this to give negative information, and the disadvantage is negative information. Now notice here, though, in the advantage, they said will not involve. And yes, you can use the words will not involve to give positive information. If you're going to give negative disadvantage information, you could say will involve or will be involved. If you're going to give positive good information, then you're going to add not, okay? Because if something is negative, that's not good. But now you're saying we won't be using it. So that's what makes it, that's why you can use it with positive information. All right, next. So now we're going on to Sunshine Hotel. Okay, remember the first thing we're going to do is find the solution. Then after the solution, we're going to find the advantage and disadvantage, okay? And then the words that connect those words. So this one is the buffet restaurant's too small, and the two solutions that we're looking for is limit the number of customers and extend the dining area. All right, so it says, in addition, it was found that our buffet restaurant was too small and was overcrowded. So see, there's that word that we talked about earlier today, overcrowded during peak hours. To rectify the situation, we could consider limiting the number of customers during peak hours, all right? So that is solution one. All right, then it says the advantage is that customers will have a more comfortable dining experience, but we may lose potential customers. All right, so where's the advantage? Where's the disadvantage in there? Now, students, we've got 28 minutes, and I kind of want to talk about other things, so I'm going to move along kind of quickly here. So it says this one hopefully is easy for you to see. This one is the advantage, highlighted in yellow, because it says the advantage is that, so hopefully that makes it easy. The advantage is that customers will have a more comfortable dining experience, okay? And it says, but we may lose potential customers, so that makes this the disadvantage. Okay, what word was used to connect the advantage and disadvantage? It is the word but. So I'm going to put that in red. All right, now for next, alternatively, we could extend the dining area. All right, so here's solution 2. Okay. And then we have to find the advantage and the disadvantage somewhere here. So if you'll notice here we have to cater for more customers. That is the advantage. Cater for means to help meet the needs of someone, to give something that they want or need. So that's what to cater for means. So that's why that's the advantage. Then it says, nevertheless, it takes time and money to carry out the extension. All right, so that's the disadvantage. And the word they used here was nevertheless, to talk about the relationship between the advantage and the disadvantage. Now, this one is new. You will notice if you go up at the top here, we did not talk about nevertheless. Notice with although, however, and but in the sentence pattern, you can use although, however, or but to talk about the advantage and the disadvantage. With nevertheless, you can only use nevertheless with the disadvantage, okay? So be careful with that, okay? You only use nevertheless with the disadvantage, not the advantage. All right, now the next step, remember we need to do this. We need to find the words that were used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage. So we've got the advantages that customers will have a more comfortable dining experience. This one's nice, you can do this one. The advantage is that. Because you have that clause, you're going to need a subject and a verb. So customers is the subject, will have as our verb, and then more information. Then here it says, but we may lose potential customers. So again, the word to introduce the disadvantage is may. And students, just like up top here with will and can or might, may is a modal, so it has to have a verb after it. So lose is the verb, and it has no ing, ed, or s. But remember, may lose is a good phrase, but it might not always work in the end of module assignment. So just remember, if you use the word may, you're going to have to follow it with a verb and make sure it fits the situation. All right, then we have to cater for customers. Now the full phrase is to cater for. If you're going to use to cater for, you're going to have to use a group of people. Or you could just say you can use the word to. Okay, to is used to give the advantage. The full phrase is to cater for, and then you would say a group of people. But just remember, you can use to give the advantage, and then you'll need to follow it with a verb, no ing, ed, or s, because it's got to, because that's infinitive. All right, for this disadvantage, it says it takes time and money to carry out the extension. So the phrase you can use is it takes time and money to. All right, then after to, you're going to need a verb, no ing, ed, or s, because you have to in front of it. That's infinitive. Again, it takes time and money to, whatever. Be careful. You might not always be able to use the phrase it takes time and money to. You might have to use something else. Now, you don't have to use them together. You can say it takes time to, and then verb, or you could say it takes money to, and verb. But if you want to put them together, if the disadvantage is that it will take both time and money, then yeah, you can put them together. Again, just be careful how you use some of these phrases. Make sure they fit the situation. All right, next, we've got the Wan Chai Tennis Club. So the two solutions that we are looking for are to provide training to bartenders or only sell canned drinks. So it says, in addition, members are not satisfied with the quality of drinks as there was a lack of variety. Even worse, sometimes the drinks had the wrong taste. It seems that we need to provide training to bartenders. All right, here is our solution one. Okay, now it says to enhance their skills. However, it takes time to see the results and our club needs to pay for their training. Okay, well, here is our advantage, to enhance their skills. Because when you enhance somebody's skills, that's usually a good thing. However, it takes time to see results, and the club needs to pay for their training. All right, that's the disadvantage. Okay, so how can I start this now? Remember, they use the word however to show the relationship between the advantage and disadvantage. Now let's look at let's not look at the words. Let's look at solution two. So it says, alternatively, we may just sell a variety of canned drinks. All right, that's solution two. Then it says, although the cost incurred will be lower as we only need to provide some vending machines, canned drinks and vending machines do not really fit with our company image. All right, so here is our advantage. Although cost incurred will be lower as we only need to provide some vending machines, what you're saying is the company will not need to spend a lot of money. And that's a good thing. But then the disadvantage is that canned drinks and vending machines do not really fit with company image. So that's not good. All right. And then what word did they use to show the relationship between this advantage and disadvantage? They used the word although. Okay, now we have to do the last step in this paragraph. We want to put words in bold that can be used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage. All right, so we will do that next. So it says to enhance their skills. What word or words were used? They used the word to. And then remember, enhance is a verb. To needs to be used with a verb. And like I said, enhance is a good verb, but it might not always work in every situation. So you're going to have to choose a verb that works. Okay. All right. So, and again, no ing, ed, or s because this is infinitive. Right. Then it says it takes time to see the results and our club needs to pay for their training. There's actually two ideas here. One, we have it takes time. Remember, we've talked about this. It takes time. Up here, we have it takes time and money to plus verb. Here they just use time. It takes time to, and then they use the verb see results. Now this is a good phrase. It takes time to see results. But again, can you use that in every situation? Maybe not, probably not. But in some of them you might. So again, you're gonna have to just depend. It depends on the information they give you on the module assignment if you want to try to use this as your disadvantage. Okay, so it takes time. To plus verb, here's our verb, no ing, d, or s because you've got to in front of it. And they've also got another one. It says our club needs to pay for. So again, this might be a phrase that you can use. You're going to say our company, our airline, our school needs to pay for, and then you will need to follow it with a noun phrase. Okay, no verbs here. Again, this may or may not work in every situation, so you'll have to decide if you can use it. And it says here for this one, the cost incurred will be lower as we only need to provide some vending machines. All right, so here we have will be plus adjective. So if you're going to use will be plus a positive adjective for the company, then you can use that as the advantage. Now, lower is sometimes thought of as a negative adjective, but since we're talking about the cost will be lower, that's a good thing for the company. You don't want to spend a lot of money. So it's will be plus adjective. All right, we only need to provide some vending machines. Now again, you might be able to use this as well as an advantage, only need to. So you can say the company only needs to pay a small price, or we only need to hire one person. So you use only to make the action seem very easy and simple to do. So you might be able to use this phrase, but you might not. Depends on the information they give you. And remember, please, that after to, you're going to need a verb here, okay? No ing, d, or s because this is infinitive. All right, next. We've got canned drinks and vending machines do not really fit our company image. So you can use do not really, and then you're going to have to follow it with a verb, no ing, ed, or s. And then after the verb, you're going to have to give more information, okay? Again, can you always use this do not really? Or it might not be do not. It might be does not. You could possibly use that one too. Okay, it might be do not or does not. If you can say do not fit, does not fit, or if you want to make it really, that means it's really not good. Again, you'll have to decide if you can use the information or not. Just please remember you're going to need a verb, no ing, d, or s, and then more information. All right, we're almost done. We've got one more. Okay, so remember we're going to find the solutions first. So we are looking for change to black text and white background. Solution 2, invite web designer to give advice. So negative comments were also received concerning the poor color scheme. It was found that the words on the website are difficult to see and read because the color of the words are not dark enough. One possible solution is to put black text on a white background. All right, here is our solution 1. okay, which is more reader friendly, but the presentation would be quite boring. All right, so which is more reader friendly is our advantage, but the presentation would be quite boring is the disadvantage. Okay, and oops, the word they used to show the relationship between the advantage and the disadvantage is the word but. So we're going to put that in red. All right, now, alternatively, we could invite a web designer to give us advice on the color scheme as well as the layout. All right, that's solution 2. Okay, although hiring a web designer would be expensive, the website would not only be easier to read, but it would also be more attractive. Okay, so we've got hiring a web designer would be more expensive, or would be expensive. That's the disadvantage, because if something's expensive, that's the disadvantage. But it says the website would not only be easier to read, but it would also be more attractive. That's the advantage. All right, and they use the word although to show the relationship between the advantage and disadvantage. All right, now, remember our last step in this exercise is you want to put words in bold that can be used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage. So we have which is more reader friendly. So we've got, you can use which is, and then after is, you're going to use a positive adjective. Okay, so reader friendly is a positive adjective. So, and we're using an adjective because we've got the word is. Okay, so which is positive adjective. That's one way you can use to introduce the advantage. Now for the next one, the presentation would be quite boring. All right, again, these are using a lot of adjectives because we can use the phrase would be, and after would be, we're going to need a negative adjective. Now, the reason why I'm not putting reader friendly, the positive adjective, or quite boring, the negative adjective in bold, is because you're going to need to decide on an appropriate adjective to use to fit the situation. Okay, so, but just remember you can use which is or would be, and then positive or negative adjectives. All right, for the next one, it says hiring a web designer would be expensive. So again, they're using would be, just like here. Whoops. Okay, and then they, after would be, they put a negative adjective. Okay, then for this one, the website, now here's a lot. The website would not only be easier to read, but it would also be more attractive. You have two ideas here. Would not only be easier, and then the second idea would also be more attractive. You don't have to write a sentence like this using would not only, but would also. You don't have to, but if you can, that's great. It's good if you can. So what can we use? Would not only be. Now you can use this for giving the disadvantage as well. If you want to give two reasons why there are disadvantages, you could use this with two negative adjectives, but we're focusing on the advantage. So we've got would not only be, and then followed by a positive adjective. And notice it's in comparison form with ER ending. And then we've got, but it would also be, and then again, another positive adjective. So this one is this paragraph is a really good example of using adjectives to give more information about your advantage or disadvantage. And then this is a good sentence pattern. Would not only be, but would also be. You can use that one. Or would not only. If you don't use be, then you can use other words that are not adjectives. But for this one, they're using adjectives. Okay. I do want to, we have a few minutes, so I'm going to talk about grammar really quick. Notice this adjective is easier, and this one is more attractive. Okay, why does this adjective have ER, and why does this adjective have more in front of it? Some adjectives have, it depends, let me start my sentence over. It depends on the amount of syllables. And please don't laugh at my Chinese, but here we go. Yumzi, I think I'm saying it right. Yumzi, yumzi. Is syllables. How many parts in a word? So I'm going to use my name as an example, Michelle. Michelle. There are 2 parts in my name. So same with like easy. There are 2 parts. E-Z, 2 parts. Attractive does not have 2 parts. It has attractive, 3 parts, 3 syllables. So usually when an adjective has 3 parts or 3 syllables or more, it needs to use more. If an adjective has two parts or one part, usually you will put ER at the end. So that's the difference. Okay, so that's just a very quick little grammar review. All right, so students, we still have 12 minutes. So we have just finished talking about this paper here. It's called To Use in Class, Copy Highlighted Writing for Paragraph 2. So I will send it to you like this with all the highlighting. So please remember, if you forget what all the highlighting and all the colors mean, I put it up here to explain to you, okay? We basically just focused on how to write the paragraph when you have to talk about the two solutions and when you have to give the advantages and disadvantages, okay? All right, so there is that. Now, before we go, I do want to tell you about, I'm going to send let me start over. I'm going to send this paper to you tonight that we just talked about. I will send this to you this evening. Second paper I'm going to send to you is the practice paper that we started the class with today. So this one about the airlines, the airplane that we just talked about, I will send this to you so that you have that answer. And the next thing I will send to you is a new practice paper. So that way, if you want to do some practice writing and you want to get my feedback, I will send that to you. Okay. Where is it? Here it is. Wait 1 second, students. Okay, let's look at that again. Now I just lost it. Is this it? Yes. All right, so here's the practice I will send to you. So if you want to do practice writing and, send it to me and give me some feedback, I can give you feedback, I can. So it's called Practice Hang Tongue Estate Practice Paper. So here it is. You've got your basic information, the supervisor's email, and then more information, okay? So I will send that to you this evening too. And I'm gonna need it by Tuesday morning. If you need more time, just email me and ask me for more time to write it. Just please remember, I have like 215 students. So if all the students are doing practice writing and I have to respond to all of them, it will take me a while. So that's why I'm asking you for it by Tuesday. But if that's too soon for you, let me know and I can try to give you some more time. All right, so that's that. Now, we're not done though. All righty, let's go over some more practice material in the next 9 minutes. Anything that we don't finish, we will do in an extra practice. I will start scheduling extra practices either this evening or tomorrow. Again, it depends on information from my boss, but I will hold extra practice sessions. But let's talk about this. Let's start about the basics here. So let's see. So that says, I think it's starting the basics. Here we go, starting from the basics. Okay, now you do not have this yet. I will send this document to you this weekend, okay? So there will be 3 documents I send to you tonight, and then I will start sending other documents to you this weekend. All right, so starting from basic. It says this page helps you write basic sentences. You will need more structures and elaborations to get a good grade. So this is basic. You'll need to do more to get a better grade. Okay, when you're writing the problem, you can start your sentence this way. Remember, I have given you lots and lots of papers on how to, and lots of sentence patterns, but here are some more suggestions. So you can say our or some, and then who. So you're gonna have to put a person here, like who are the people that complained. Then you can either use words like this, like commented, mentioned, complained, reported, said, thought, and then you're gonna need the word that, and then SVO. Okay, so our members mentioned that, and then you have the tennis coaches were unprofessional. The tennis coaches is the S, the subject, were is the V, the verb, and then unprofessional, the O, which is an adjective. Or you can say our, some, and then again, after our or some, you're going to need the group of people. Then you can say commented or complained about. So if you're going to use that, it's followed with SVO. If you're going to use about, it's followed by a noun or noun phrase, which we've talked about today in class. So for example, our members complained about, and then the unprofessional tennis coaches. So notice how they changed this. From here, it went tennis coaches were, which is a verb, unprofessional. Now, and they put the adjective at the end. Now they put the adjective in front of the noun so that you, the noun, so that you don't need a verb. Okay, so you can do that. Again, remember, this is very basic sentence patterns. You will need more structures and elaboration, meaning you will have to add more ideas to get a good grade. All right, next, when writing the solutions, we talked about this in Unit 8 document, which you have, and again, I've sent you tons of sentence patterns to help you, okay? So you have this one. We may consider verb ing. I suggest verb ing. You can say, I suggest that, because you have that. It's going to be SVO. It is suggested that. It is recommended that with SVO. Or we should plus verb, or we could plus verb. No ing, ed, or s on the verb because we've got should and could in front. So you can say, we may consider providing trainings. Now, students, this really should be providing training. Providing trainings, no. Okay, I suggest providing training. I suggest that we provide training. It is suggested that we provide training. We should provide training, okay? So that's some basics to give the solution. Now here it says when writing the benefits, I teach you the advantage. So remember when you have to give the advantage of the solution, you can use some of these words here. So you can say therefore, as a result, hence or thus. So therefore it can or it will, as a result it can or will, hence it can or will, or thus it can or will. Because you have can or will, you have to have a verb after can or will. So here we have boost, improve, be, provide, and become. Notice with be and be, it's followed with an adjective like convenient and easy. So let's read these. Okay, you can say, therefore, it can boost staff morale. Morale is like team spirit. As a result, it will improve communication. Hence, it can improve the quality of, after of, you're going to need a noun. Like it will improve the quality of the drinks. It will improve the quality of the service. It will improve the quality of connectivity with the internet, something like that. Hence, it will be more convenient. Now, you could say this, hence it will be more convenient, full stop. If you want to give more information, who will it be more convenient for? So hence, it will be more convenient for students. Hence, it will be more convenient for people who ride the MTR, something like that. Thus, it can be easy to, and then what's it easy to do? Easy to write a paper. Okay, so you're going to need a verb here. Thus, it will be easy to get a good grade. Get would be your verb, okay? Then we can do, therefore, it will provide more choices, full stop, or you can say it will provide more choices to, and then after to, you need a group of people. It will provide more choices to the students. It will provide more choices to the employees. You can say, as a result, it will become more. Now, it might not always be more students. It might be ER. Be careful. It will become more convenient. It will become more, I don't know. All the words I'm thinking of are adjectives. Like it would become easier. Easier does not take more. Easy is easier. We don't say more easy. We say easier. It would become easier. It would become cheaper. Or if you wanted to use affordable, affordable also means it's cheap. So you could say become more affordable. All right, then when you want to write about the disadvantages, remember the benefits or advantages are added ideas. Disadvantages are added ideas. You can say, but this will, or however this will. Remember, you can use although. If you use although, remember you're putting you're putting the advantage and disadvantage together in the same sentence. Same with but. You don't have to use but and however to give the disadvantage. You can put the disadvantage first in your sentence, but this is very basic. It says, but this will take more time. We've talked about this phrase today. However, this will need more money. I would not use the word need. I would probably say take. This will take more money, or need an extra cost. I would not use need, students. I would say this would require an extra cost. That sounds a little bit weird to me. As an English speaker, I would not say need. I would say this would require an extra cost. All right, but this will increase the workload. Then you want to say of who, like who's going to have their workload increase. Probably be the employees or the staff. But this will reduce our profit. However, this will need more manpower. Again, I would not use the word need. I would use the verb require. So notice after the word this will, you have take, need, increase, reduce, or need. Those are all, what are those all of? Those are verbs, okay? And again, no ing, ed, or s on the verb because you have will in front of it. Okay, there were a few worksheets I want to go over, but I will go over those in the practice paper, the extra practice classes. I'm not sure when I'm going to schedule all the extra practice because I have so many different classes and I know, all of your schedules are different. So what I will do, I'll just try to schedule as many as possible. I will also try to put them on video so that way if you are not able to go to the extra practice online, then you can at least watch the video on Moodle. All right, students, it is 11 o'clock. I hope you found that helpful. I will remember I'll send 3 documents to you tonight, and then I'll send more documents like this one to you on the weekend. Okay, so if you have any questions, please ask me. And if not, you're free to go. I don't know I think you have another class after this, I'm not sure. Remember, you won't be able to download the end of module assignment until 12 o'clock this afternoon, so you've got an hour before you can do that. And what's the other thing I was going to tell you? The deadline is 4th of May, 11:55 p.m. at night. All right. And we do not have class next week because of the holiday. All right, so students, this is our last class. But we will have extra practice. And I will email you about the extra practice. All right. So thank you, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. If you have questions, please ask. If not, y'all are free to go. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Bye-bye. See y'all. Bye-bye. See you. Hopefully. Hope y'all are all doing okay. Bye-bye.